All right. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Today's lesson, we're going to be dealing with Amanda Gorman, the young lady who recited um, the poem for the inauguration with the president, and the young lady who also had the poem um, about the miracle of mourning in response to the COVID-19 situation. How are you all doing today?
I'm doing good. So far my schoolwork is going great.
Very nice, very nice. All right. Now, Amanda S.C. Gorman is an American poet. All right, an activist from Los Angeles. Gorman's work focuses on the issues of oppression, feminism, race, and marginalization, as well as the African American diaspora. All right, Gorman is the first person to be named the National Youth Poet Laureate. Okay, she was born in 1998, age 23 years old. Like I said, Los Angeles, California. Nationality, she claims American. Her parents, it says Joan Wick, single parent, and her education is from Harvard. All right, let's keep it going, people. So, within this assignment, okay, we want the students, you all, to examine Amanda Gorman and the Hill We Climb poem, as well as the poem for The Miracle in the Morning. While you're examining these, the objectives are for the students to understand the message and the goals of Amanda Gorman through her inaugural poem and other work. You're going to observe the message, okay, the meaning, the tone, the impact of The Hill We Climb and The Miracle of the Morning. Kind of dive into how it makes you feel to see a young lady of that magnitude on that stage, being able to share at that level. And then we're going to ask you to write a response or a reply, based off of a couple of sentences and how they made you feel. Okay. You're also going to need to draw connections between this moment in history and the moment and the poet's actual messages. Okay, a couple of questions that we want you to take into consideration when watching these videos are: what do you notice? Um, what do you wonder? What stands out to you with these poems? And why might poets, be asked to do things like inaugurations and speak in front of people for masses of people. Also, I want you to take into consideration, how does this make you feel? What is your miracle of the morning? Or, how did you feel after you seen COVID? Like, that's a question for you all right now. How did you feel after you weren't able to go back to school? Anybody care to share?
Um, After I wasn't able to go to school, I was a little sad because I wouldn't be able to see my friends as much.
Okay.
And honestly, I think online school is really good, but I think in-person school is better because you have the materials and stuff.
All right. What about you? Do you have anything to say, or do you want to move on with the actual assignment?
Uh, I really wanted to go back to school, but now I feel like this is a better way of learning for me than in school.
And why do you feel like this is a better way of learning for you?
It's too many distractions in school. I probably won't pay attention as much as I can now because it's just me.
Okay, so you are able to pay more attention since it's just you at home versus being at school with different distractions.
Yeah.
What about you? How are you feeling about your education online right now?
I think I'm doing personally pretty good. Um, School is naturally pretty not well. It's not easy, but it's not hard.
Okay.
So I think right now I am in a mentally and very good state of how I'm doing at school.
Oh, very nice, very nice. So you feel pretty good about school then?
Yes.
All right. So again, let's pay attention to those questions. We'll take it into consideration these poems. The first poem we're gonna watch is "The Miracle of the Morning," and during this time, I want you all to see if there are any um, quotes or anything that stand out to you that we could possibly discuss after the poems. As soon as we watch this one, we'll shift to the next one, which will be the miracle, well, not the miracle of the morning, but the inaugural poem, "The Hill We Climb." Okay, so here we go.
I thought I'd awaken to a world in mourning, heavy clouds crowding, a society storming, but there's something different on this golden morning, something magical in the sunlight, wide and warming. I see a dad with a stroller taking a jog across the street. A bright eyed girl chases her dog, a grandma on a porch fingers her rosaries. She brings, as her young neighbor brings her groceries, while we might feel small, separate, and all alone. Our people have never been more closely tethered because the question isn't if we can weather this unknown, but how we will weather this unknown together. So, on this meaningful morn, we mourn and we mend like lights we can't be broken. Even when we bend as one, we will defeat both despair and disease. We stand with healthcare heroes and all employees, with families, libraries, waiters, schools, artists, businesses, restaurants, and hospitals hit hardest. We ignite not in the light, but in lack thereof. For it is in loss that we truly learn to love. In this chaos, we will discover clarity. In suffering, we must find solidarity. For it's our grief that gives us our gratitude, shows us how to find hope if we ever shall lose it. So ensure that this ache wasn't endured in vain. Do not ignore the pain. Give it purpose. Use it. Read children's books. Dance alone to DJ music. Know that this distance will make our hearts grow fonder. From a wave of rose, our world will emerge stronger. We'll observe how the burdens braved by humankind are also the moments that make us humans kind. Let each dawn find us courageous, brought closer, heeding the lights before the fight is over. When this ends, we'll smile sweetly, finally seeing. In testing times, we became the best of these.
All right, that's the first one. Now, right away, how did that make you all feel when she was reciting that? Was there anything that stood out to you?
Um, I think it was a really good poem. I definitely don't think I can write it because I'm still a child and I haven't experienced all that. But I think it was a good poem.
All right. Was there anything in that poem that stood out to you? Any lines, or no?
I have two. There are two lines that stood out to me. I guess you could say.
Would you like to share one of them?
Sure.
All right.
Um. So the one that, or they're both of them, but the one that I'm gonna read is while we might feel small, separate, and alone, and all alone.
And why did that stand out to you?
Because sometimes when I'm just like sad or like angry, I guess you could say, I do feel like I'm alone sometimes. I feel small, but I am small. Like this world is huge and I'm small. So, and yeah,
What about the other one? Would you like to share the other one?
sure. In this chaos, we will somehow find clarity.
And why did that stand out to you? How did that make you feel?
Because me and my family went to like a not a riot, but like a protest, and that was during 2020, which was definitely a chaos year.
Okay.
Multiple things happened. So I just looked back on that year and thought of that, and I was like, that definitely was a chaos year. But we somehow made the end of the year, the last 2 months or 3 months, a little better, but still was a chaos year. So that's
All
what
right.
I
All right. So let's keep going. What about you? Was there anything that stood out with you in the poem, or should we go ahead and move on to the next one?
Well, I think it was a good poem, but it says like the world is in mourning, but that don't mean that nothing is going good at all in the world.
And why did that stood out? Why did that stand out to you?
Because most of the time, people who woke or whatever, they don't pay attention to what's really going on. They just stick to their life and find happiness in within themselves.
Okay, okay. That's kind of deep. Is there anything else that stood out to you?
No.
All right. Well, thank you all. Let's move on to the next one.
The new Mike WW Plus gives you more of what you need to help you lose weight. More simplicity with the what's in your fridge recipe feature. And more motivation with on-demand workout classes. The new My WW Plus. Download the app and try us out with a 14-day free trial. Mr. President, Dr. Biden, Madam Vice President, Mr. Emhoff, Americans, and the world. When day comes, we ask ourselves, where can we find light in this never-ending shade? The loss we carry, a sea we must wade. We've braved the belly of the beast. We've learned that quiet isn't always peace, and the norms and notions of what just isn't always just is. And yet the dawn is ours before we knew it. Somehow we do it. Somehow we weathered and witnessed a nation that isn't broken, but simply unfinished. We, the successors of a country in a time where a skinny black girl descended from slaves and raised by a single mother can dream of becoming president, only to find herself reciting for one. And yes, we are far from polished, far from pristine, but that doesn't mean we are striving to form a union that is perfect. We are striving to forge our union with purpose, to compose a country committed to all cultures, colors, characters, and conditions of man. And so we lift our gaze not to what stands between us, but what stands before us. We close the divide because we know to put our future first. We must first put our differences aside. We lay down our arms so we can reach out our arms to one another. We seek harm to none and harmony for all. Let the globe, if nothing else, say this is true. That even as we grieved, we grew. That even as we hurt, we hoped. That even as we tired, we tried. That we'll forever be tied together, victorious. Not because we will never again know defeat, but because we will never again sow division. Scripture tells us to envision that everyone shall sit under their own vine and fig tree, and no one shall make them afraid. If we're to look up to our own time, then victory won't lie in the blade, but in all the bridges we've made. That is the promised glade, the hill we climb, if only we dare it. Because being American is more than a pride we inherit. It's the past we step into and how we repair it. We've seen a force that would shatter our nation rather than share it, would destroy our country if it meant delaying democracy. And this effort very nearly succeeded. But while democracy can be periodically delayed, it can never be permanently defeated. In this truth, in this faith we trust, for while we have our eyes on the future, history has its eyes on us. This is the era of just redemption. We feared it at its inception. We did not feel prepared to be the heirs of such a terrifying hour, but within it we found the power to author a new chapter, to offer hope and laughter to ourselves. So, while once we asked, how could we possibly prevail over catastrophe? Now we assert, how could catastrophe possibly prevail over us? We will not march back to what was, but move to what shall be, a country that is bruised but whole, benevolent but bold, fierce and free. We will not be turned around or interrupted by intimidation, because we know our inaction and inertia will be the inheritance of the next generation. Our blunders become their burdens. But one thing is certain, emerge mercy with might, and might with right, then love becomes our legacy, and change our children's birthright. So let us leave behind a country better than one we were left with every breath from a bronze pounded chest. We will raise this wounded world into a wondrous one. We will rise from the golden hills of the west. We will rise from the windswept northeast where our forefathers first realized revolution. We will rise from the lake-rimmed cities of the Midwestern states. We will rise from the sun-baked south. We will rebuild, reconcile, and recover in every known nook of our nation, in every corner called our country. Our people, diverse and beautiful, will emerge battered and beautiful when day comes. We step out of the shade of flame and unafraid. The new dawn blooms as we free it. For there was always light, if only we're brave enough to see it, if only we're brave enough to be it.
All right. And that was the second poem, "The Hill We Climb," that she performed for President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris. Now, how do you all feel about Vice President Kamala Harris? Let's just start with that question.
Um, I think she's a really good vice president. I
Yes.
think it's called. I think she's a really good one. I'm very proud to say that I'm not gonna say like what people say sister, but like somebody that's my own skin color is setting new trends or like boundaries and stuff.
Hmm.
I'm really happy about that because I mean it would be nice to have things like that. So
it's a step in the positive for young women in America to step up and take office and to be able to hold those type of jobs.
yeah.
Wonderful. What do you think?
Me personally, I don't know a lot about her, but I'm happy that a black woman is able to come up.
All right, that's a wonderful thing. Now, as for this actual poem, was there anything that stood out to you? If I told you that Amanda Gorman had a speech impediment uh, issue, would you believe me? If I told you that she had to overcome that to be able to do poetry, and through her poetry she is able to overcome that, would you believe me?
No.
Well, those things are true about this young lady. And now that you know those things, was there anything that stood out to you about this poem, or how do you feel about this poem?
The line "quiet isn't always peace." I feel like that sticks out because if you don't talk or speak how you feel, nobody will know your side of the story.
Okay, so just because someone's quiet doesn't mean they don't have anything to say. But at the same token, don't be quiet. Actually, voice your opinion, find your voice, and say it so people can know how you feel. Anything else?
For me, I have two
Okay.
again. So the loss we carry, a sea we must wave. We brave the belly of the beast.
Okay.
I don't know how I thought of this, but I'm not necessarily against Trump, but I am saying that he's done some bad things.
Okay.
So I feel like he's the belly of the beast,
Okay.
but he like got consumed by the bees.
Oh my goodness, that's heavy. So if he got consumed by the beast, then who is the beast?
The beast is hate.
The beast is hate and negativity. Yes, that is the beast. Very nice. Any other ones?
Not what stands between us, but what stands before us.
And how did that make you feel? And what do you think that means?
I like, or how I like, what's it called? Feel this, I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm.
How I like relate to this. Oh, like how I relate to this.
Mm-hmm.
So I think like do not. So there's two good people, honest people, and there's one bad person in the middle.
Okay.
That doesn't mean the people on the side are bad. That means they're good. They just hang around the wrong company. So what I'm trying to get to here is that negativity can really go over things. Like some people could be bad,
Mhm.
some people can be good, and you before us, I think it means like the gods,
Okay.
like the gods of hatred and negativity and stuff like that, and then the good gods and stuff like that. What's before us, I feel like they sort you into where you go in life.
Oh, that is deep. All right. So the next level of this assignment, I'm going to challenge both of you to write a poem. And once you get done with that poem, you will be able to recite it if you want to. And if you don't want to, you don't have to. All right.